Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today, and thank you for choosing the video. Actually, if you've taken the plunge and clicked on this video, hang around. So I hope to show you something interesting. My name is Vic. I'm an artist in Gloucestershire in the UK, and in this video, and particularly this channel, I'm showcasing stuff from the last kind of 40 years actually, right through up to date. So this one here is about a painting I did in 1989, but if you look at the other videos, you'll see it'll go right the way through sort of a 40-year history up to where I am now. So if we go back to 1989, I would have been, I'm going to say something like about 24, 25, something like that. So I was quite new to, I've been painting all my life basically, but I was just starting to get into the era where I was starting to blend paints. Now, if you know anything about me and my career, which you probably don't because you're just watching this, I've just zoomed up on YouTube. I'm totally untrained. So I never went to college or anything like that. I never studied art. So the whole thing is completely self-taught. So anything you see about me, anything you see online, you kind of have to realise I've had to learn this as I've gone along really. So I kind of learned the rules and techniques. So this particular painting I did on the 4th of December 89. That was 4th of December. That was my birthday. I just realised that. That's something. Okay. Wow. Anyway, so that was my birthday painting apparently. So as you can see from this, actually, I've taken this out of a pad where I used to paint. It's quite thick paper actually. I was probably at the stage where I could afford actual paper. I would have been going to work by this stage, so I could have afforded to buy a few materials. So this is actually done, I'm going to say, in poster paint actually, if that means anything to anybody. So poster paint used to come in kind of little kind of bottles, and you used to get like the primary colours and stuff, and it was kind of ready mixed actually. You could dilute it a bit, but I didn't used to dilute it. I just used it fresh out of the little pot. And it used to have like a little plastic cap on the top of it. It was really nice actually, it used to last quite well and had really good coverage. So this painting, I'm going to try and catch the light here. So you can see there's some metallics on it actually. So I've got a metallic here, and I've got a metallic, looking at it, metallic there. Metallics I use, this is I think a bronze metallic. And what I've done this painting, you can see this is the first kind of time I've noticed I'm actually starting to blend the paint. Now I'm starting to blend it actually on the paper, and I can actually see by the blend of the colours that I've used, I'm kind of quite new to this. So I've got like blue and red, for example. I mean, blue and red, I probably wouldn't use blue and red now to try and blend as a colour. Probably use something more subtly. But that's what I was using back then. I guess it's a case of trial and error really. But looking at this now, and I'm just kind of picking this up after best part of 35 odd years or whatever since I actually looked at it, I'm kind of quite surprised at the composition actually, in that it's quite a striking composition, but I quite like the streaks through the middle bit, like the monotone bit that just kind of runs through here. And I have used that since then. That is something I don't use that often, but I think in this painting I'm probably just going to be using it to really highlight how you can go from, you know, intense kind of colour, which most of my paintings are quite intense colour, and then we can go to these monotones of like the blacks and the greys. And I find actually looking at it now, I find this quite interesting because grey is not a colour I use. I can count on one hand how many times I've used grey in a painting, and I can see on this one I would have mixed that myself. So I would have mixed it, and when you mix grey, when I mix grey, you get one shot at applying it, so you can't really go back and reapply. So when I'm painting something like this would have been multiple layers to get this kind of coverage. So on the grey, I would have done several mixes individually of varying shades of grey, so I can go back, reapply, go back, reapply once it's dry. And it's always a risk with grey that it can kind of get a bit mottled if you haven't got the right pigment. So my goodness, what, 35 odd years, whatever later, and it still looks like this. I'm quite pleased with that. And it is quite funny to see this serrated edge where I've just yanked it out of the drawing pad and just done it. Paper actually is quite thick. I'm quite surprised the paper I was drawing on back then. I don't know if you can get paper this thick in the drawing pad anymore, to be honest. I think you'd have to buy that individually. I don't know what the weight of this is, but it feels pretty thick to me. I'm going to take a wild guess and say something like £300 paper, because it's really quite dense. Anyway, and it's lasted the test of time actually. Kind of around this period I realised, I did kind of a little bit of research, realised I should be using better paper really. So this would have been acid free, and as you can see it's lasted okay. Luckily, most of my stuff I did was all on acid-free paper. And I'm looking back in portfolios now, and not so much with the paintings, but some of the things like surrounds I used to use, they're kind of showing a test of time. So I just thank my lucky stars that I was, not very clever, but I realised I should be using acid-free paper. So I hope the light isn't too bad in here. Actually, it's a bit of a rubbish day, but I hope the light is good enough for you to have a look at that. The black is really nice, jet black. I don't know if I'm going to manage to pick up that, and it's got a really nice look to it. Does it got a kind of 1980s feel to it? Probably has, I would imagine. I think it probably has actually, kind of bold colours. I wouldn't say really bright colours. They're kind of slightly muted. Like the green to me is a bit of a kind of like a mushy pea green, something I probably wouldn't use today actually. And the blue, I would say that blue is like, I don't know how you describe that. It's almost on the verge of being like a powder blue, but it's not. And I've outlined the blue in a lighter blue as well. I was getting to that stage where I was beginning to think, I could outline things to give them a bit more sort of prominence, trying to make things look a bit more kind of 3D, so that I'm shading things here to almost create like a shadow kind of thing. I've not been clever enough to use the shadowing effect to my advantage, I don't think. So I've used it on like both sides here, not used it on that side there. So I think it looks a little bit unbalanced, but it doesn't really matter really. The central part there, I went on to using in another painting a few years later because I quite like that. I guess you could say it reminds me of like a record or a vinyl, as they say these days, like an LP. And that would have been something that would have been quite close to my heart, really, because kind of years ago, records and things, I used to quite enjoy listening to records, and in our family, where there were big record collections, and we used to play a lot of LPs and stuff like that. So I think it's got quite a nice kind of feel to it, almost a bit of a 70s feel, I think, in the middle of that, actually. Anyway, let me know what you think about that one. I think that might be quite interesting. People are going to find that, hopefully going to find it interesting. So 1989, my birthday, 4th of December, 1989. So there we go. So yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Your thoughts, always welcome. I'm no expert, I just paint the stuff. So you're the people who can tell me what you really think about it. And if you love old rubbish, that's fine. I don't really mind. Whatever you want. I've got a thick skin these days. It don't really bother me. But hopefully somebody might find it interesting. And do you paint yourself? Really nice, actually. I'm hearing from a lot of people who do paint, and a lot of artists perhaps who have stopped painting years ago, and then they kind of watch a video of mine and say, well, it's kind of giving me a bit of a push, really. I might get my paints out and have another go, start painting again. And that's the beauty of painting. If you get the feeling that you want to have a go at painting, just do it. Just absolutely do it. It doesn't matter how many years ago it was since you last painted. Just pick up and have another go, because you'll probably find, styles change, your life experiences you've had in that period are going to be reflected in what you do. It's going to be really, really interesting. So, if you're a painter years ago and then you want to pick up again, do it. Don't think about it. Do it. Don't worry about it. You have to show it. It's not a lesson. Nobody's going to judge you. Have a go. Just always have a go. If nothing else, it's going to be absolutely fantastic for you, because it helps the brain. It frees the mind. It's a way to relax. So it's going to be absolutely good. You can only benefit from painting. Anyway, so there we go. So that's that little painting there from 1989. So if you enjoyed that, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. It doesn't cost anything, and it's absolutely free. And I'm not going to bombard you with loads of old rubbish. So you can just pick and choose whatever you want to look at, so at your leisure. So thanks a lot for your time, everybody. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen. Check out some of the other videos, because lots and lots coming online. I do a video every Friday from work, 40 years up to date. So it's going to be heaps and heaps to look through. It's like a mini retrospective, but bringing it right up to date for you. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio for now.